could you give us an update on what the last couple of days have been like since the cancellation of Sunday's game?
Yeah, the last couple of days have been positive, perhaps even more than positive. You know, the fact that the guys were back on the field, it's the day after. We've met a few times. They've been great. They've been really, really good. They've been asking questions, you know, answering questions. It's just been a great couple of days, to be fair.
Where do we go from here? Because after they leave camp, these guys are going on vacation, won't really come together until September again. So where do you see these conversations going, and how much of the conversation has really been about maybe helping them to understand, because they were clearly pointing to some stuff with Canada Soccer Business and World Cup bonuses, maybe about understanding so that whatever questions they have.
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, it's been equal parts education, equal parts negotiation, right? Like, I think it's been a good couple of days. The process is probably not dissimilar from the one we're kind of currently in with the women's team, right? It was early conversations, which we've already had, you know, kind of set the groundwork for understanding and knowing what we both needed to do. And then, to some degree, it's allowing kind of professionals to get along with the negotiation, allow them to be footballers, right? And so the conversation between our side, the conversation between their side to move it forward, I don't envision it's gonna be a problem, to be honest.
So the women specifically said that they didn't, they had a slightly different analysis of equity than in the men's open letter. Can you strike an agreement with the men's team without a concurrent agreement with the women's team? Are you negotiating them separately, or do they have to be as a package deal, as in the United States?
We can negotiate them separately, but I think they need to be contemplated, right? If we're gonna get to a place where we really are fair and equitable, then there's gonna be a very similar outcome on both sides.
And did the situation in the U.S. and the announcement that came out a couple of weeks ago, how does that influence these negotiations?
Like most things the Americans do, it generally influences things. So yeah, it was a blueprint, right, that allowed for the conversations to happen, right? I think that ours and our discussions have been maybe a bit more of a hybrid of all of that. But yeah, it certainly changed the conversation.
Sportsnet?
Is there a deadline for this? Done? Does it have to be done before the World Cup?
Yeah, I hope it gets done before the World Cup. Yeah, I think I don't have a deadline in mind. The sooner the better, right? And I think that will. I think how the conversations go will determine how long it takes. But I don't envision it's going to take too long, and I don't think we're going to be bouncing up against the World Cup to be doing anything like this.
Centrally global, go ahead.
I think so. Obviously, what happened on Sunday was not good for anyone.
Yeah.
Most of all the fans, I would say. Was there no sense that maybe this was coming and that maybe that game could have been canceled earlier than it was? And how long has the process been going?
Well, the process started. I'll start with that first. You know, the process started immediately once we knew we were qualified. The issue on Sunday and the question you asked about the fans and cancellation, we thought we would be able to get to a place where they played the game, to be honest. But it didn't happen, and I think for that we're sorry, right? You know, I think everybody involved feels for the supporters, for the fans, the people who traveled, the people who've been like significantly inconvenienced by the whole episode. We are sorry for that, but we're here. I'm happy to see them on the field. You know, the sound of a ball and guys yelling at each other. That's really what we're here for. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow night.
On your left, Postmedia.
Can you give us an idea of how much revenue you guys lost in that canceled game? And with the two games being canceled or won by strike, how has that impacted ticket sales for tomorrow's game?
I don't know, right? I think probably when the game's over, we'll have a better picture of what stadium looks like and what the impact was. Financially, we'll probably have a better picture in the coming weeks to really see how it's been impactful. But let's face it, big stadium, cost to bring teams in. It'll be significant, but to what end, I don't know.
Let's get
Not
a
yet.
couple more questions in, yeah.
Any anticipation that, like, we don't know what the exact number is on Iran, but they said 400,000. Then you have Panama, you have the lost ticket revenue, you have the stadium, you have the practice facility. Will this impact the European leg of preparation, given you're working from the same pool of money?
No, it's not going to impact this team's preparation. It's not going to impact how we approach getting this team ready and helping John and the entire group get ready for Qatar.
Matthew and then Oliver. to
Just
wrap up.
just bouncing off that though, have you had any discussions with the FAs that they could potentially be playing in September? I mean, those things aren't, especially when you're getting ready for a World Cup cycle, you can't plan those a week ahead. So have
Yeah.
they voiced any concerns? How have those conversations been going?
No, we've had no concerns, and we're a long way away. A long way down the road, not a long way away.
Because you're not a long way away from those.
yeah. We're a long way down the road to finalizing those. So we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing in those windows, and you guys know the June window was always a tough one, right? Right on the back of the draw. Nations League in Europe, a handful of teams being occupied. It was always going to be a tricky one, the June window. But the other windows, we're pretty close to finalizing all of the
When
games.
will you announce those? Do you know?
Richard? No, I don't know.
Whenever.
I don't know. Yeah, it's soon.
When contracts
When the
are
ink
signed.
when the ink's dry.
So
And Oliver,
have some of the
go ahead.
issues have been resolved, and how close are you to, you think, getting over the hump?
I think resolved. I think they're understood, right? So it's hard to say how far we are away. I just go back to the point that over the last couple of days, we've had great discussions, right? The guys in that room have been great. They're smart guys, right? And they understand the concept. It's always good to be around these guys, right? The days in and around the game itself were I don't know, tough. But these last couple of days have been great.
Oliver, and then we'll get you outside. Go ahead.
Is there anything in particular, Earl, at this point that remains kind of a main or significant obstacle to getting an agreement done?
I don't think so. I mean, I think them understanding our kind of fiscal realities, right, it will go a long way, and that's going to be through sharing of information and being open and transparent with them so that they understand our realities. I think that will go a long way.
Just for a point of clarification, do you have the same offer on the deal as you described on Saturday night, which is the 30% for the men, 30% for the women? Has that moved at all?
Well, we haven't moved anything on that. I think once we get into the next phase of discussions, we'll decide whether those shift.
So
or
it's
not.
more education than the last several days than negotiation. Then,
Well,
yeah.
but yeah, education, but also discussing some of their realities. What they're ultimately looking to get. Yeah, a little bit of both.
And just
Good
one more
thing.
quick clarification. This is for them, because they had referenced Canada Soccer's deal with Canada Soccer Business. Has this been kind of, do they understand this is about World Cup bonuses and they've been educated?
Yeah, this is between us and them, right? This has nothing to do with any other third party.